Chris, can you smell it in the air?
Smell what?
Ah, it's pumpkin spice everywhere, baby. I got my pumpkin spice candle. It's technically not fall, but it is spooky season has begun.
It is indeed.
Light my candle so I can get in the atmosphere, so I can get
God
in the mood.
damn
Hold
it.
on, hold on,
You're wasting
hold on,
film.
hold on.
Wow. Wow.
There we go. There we go. I hope I don't blow my house up. Final Destination style.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Crosscut. I'm your co-host, Chris.
And I'm your other co-host, Josh.
So, out of all this mayhem, we decide to watch Final Destination to continue all
Yes.
this mayhem in the world with more
Yes.
death.
More death. This
More
movie's
death.
all about death.
It's all death's design.
It's about cheating death.
Cheating
Some people cheat their diets. They cheat death.
death.
The most over the top thing in this whole movie is that friggin' teacher death scene. It's the most improbable
We're
thing.
getting ahead of
It
ourselves.
goes from it goes from I know, it goes from dripping liquid into a computer to the friggin' house
Hold
exploding.
on.
Anyways,
Wow, 2000 Final
another
Destination.
25th year
Uh-huh.
anniversary.
Another 25. I forgot it was actually 2000. For some reason, I always thought it was like 98 or something like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's cl like close to that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the first Final Destination in years.
Okay. I remember you said you hadn't seen all of them, right?
Right. I haven't seen all of them. Like
Which ones have you seen? Do you remember?
I've seen the first one. The second one, which one was the second one? Was that the roller coaster one?
No, that's the third one. The
That's the
second one
third.
is the highway with the tree logs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then the fourth one was the
The
racetrack.
racetrack.
Right. And the
You saw that
fifth,
one?
yeah, I saw the racetrack one.
Okay. The fifth one is like on the bridge or the big bridge.
But then I hadn't
That
seen
was the that was the last one until the new one.
Bloodlines.
Yeah.
Right.
And you haven't
Okay.
seen that one?
No. So it's just
Okay.
the last
So you're
two
just
that I
missing
haven't seen.
you're just missing two, which that's not that bad.
Which one's the one with the nail gun?
The third one.
The third one? Okay.
Yeah. Which actually is still my favorite. I don't know why. I
I
like
I
three.
like the roller coaster one. I don't know why.
Yeah, I do
Those
too. I
death
love three.
design, those deaths like the jock with the
Yeah, right. I think that's when I mean, the
I think
series
the
was
kills
already
got
pretty
more
clever. They
creative.
were getting pretty creative at this point. They were definitely a lot of fake outs, and I don't
Yeah.
know, man. Three was so much fun. Plus, Mary Elizabeth Winstead,
Yeah.
wink, wink, not
Right.
too bad to look at.
The
But I
tanning
don't know, like the third
salon.
one was just a lot of fun. I don't know why. I think also I was that age. Like I remember when that movie came out, like
Mhm.
2006. So I was like I think a junior in high school. So I was around the same age as the characters. So I think that was easier
Okay.
for me to like kind of be like, okay, I get it. I
You just
relate to
want to
them.
watch that the tanning bed scene over and over again. I know.
I got it on loop on my TV, actually. It's my wallpaper.
Uh,
I fall asleep to it just watching that scene.
see, I had forgotten how the first one started. Like,
Yeah, it takes a bit to get into the first one. I kind of realized like by the time they're kind of past the whole initial setup, it was about 20 minutes into the movie.
yeah, I was like, I really don't remember that. I just remember from his vision and on.
Oh, from the airplane. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it definitely takes its time. It has a pretty lengthy opening credit sequence. They're doing
yeah,
a lot of little like foreshadowing and stuff
yeah.
like that. And
It was
then it
long.
gets to, are they at the airport at that point?
They're
I think
getting
they are
ready. They're getting ready to go to the airport.
with
They're
his
like,
parents. Okay, that's right.
right,
That was right.
right.
Yeah.
He's packing his bag and I'm like, when his mom almost tries to like rip the last tag
Hmm.
off and he says, "No, don't do it. It's bad luck. It's all her fault.
It is all her fault. She
She
caused all
broke
this
she
chaos.
broke the good luck.
All six movies is because his mom ripped that tag off of that bag.
She started Death's design."
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, the only thing I didn't remember what the order was from the movie. I was like, I just don't, I just remember how it ends. Like I remember the
Hmm.
last three, but I didn't remember which order was the rest of them.
Okay.
And then the first
Uh,
one was Todd, right? Yeah.
Todd. Yeah, Todd.
I
Which
do
was
remember
sad, man. He was such a good friend.
he was a good friend. And
Did you also recognize the actor? It probably would be hard to recognize him, but our
I
first
actually
ever
okay.
crosscut episode, he's in that movie, Disturbing Behavior.
He
He
is.
plays the like albino-y friend.
Oh
That was
that's
him.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the same guy.
See, I know him from Smallville.
Okay, Smallville. I know he was also in one of the Saw movies.
I don't remember which one
I
though.
forgot which one. It's like five or six. He's like a detective, but
I just
yeah, he's
remember
he's
he's
a
like
good he's a good actor.
he's been around in a lot of stuff.
I think he's a Canadian actor. I think he appears in a lot of Canadian
Oh,
stuff because
that
those
makes
are
sense for
all
Smallville too, because Smallville's Canadian.
right. Yeah, so I think he's a Canadian actor. Chad Donnell is his name.
Okay. Well, I remember his death about the strangulation.
It's
That
crazy to
was
think that's the first real death at this whole franchise. You know what I mean? Like that was the first one. And
the thing is
I
more
remember,
believable too, like something that would actually happen, like an accident that
right,
would just be
right.
changed.
There's no big crazy setup. It's just very simple where it's like the
Yeah,
toilet was kind of the water was coming out and then he
right,
slipped. And then, but it's still like everything was still laid out, like the clothesline with
right.
the laundry on the which I always wonder. Sometimes I'd be at like a hotel and I'd be like, "What is this thing for?" Then I realize, oh, it's for the hang your clothes on, and for
Wait,
characters to get killed in Final Destination. You know what I'm talking about in the bathtub, that little where you where that's what he's choking on. There's an actual thing in hotels that if you go to the bathtub and you look, you see like a thing with a string on it, and then the other side, and I'm like, what is this for? And I never really knew what that was
I've
for.
never noticed that.
Yeah, next time you're in like a hotel, just just like look in the bathtub and
Huh.
see there's like one side with the string and then one side where you hook it to. And I was like, what is this for? And then I realized like, oh, it's like to hold your laundry on. And then when I was watching the movie, I was
Oh
like,
shit.
there it is. Yeah, and that's what causes death in this
I
situation.
never knew the hotels did that.
Also, did you notice the foreshadowing of his death on the airplane? So
I don't
remember when
remember
the
his.
girls are asking, okay, remember when the girls are asking him if he
Oh,
would,
where he goes like
Alex to
this?
move. He's going like this, but he also goes like this. Did you
Oh,
notice he goes like
I
that?
forgot. I didn't pitch attention. I just
Yeah,
saw when he
he's
did
going
this.
like this. He's doing that, and I was like, oh,
Uh,
that's the pretty good foreshadowing right there.
okay, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I watched this movie,
Hmm.
I was four. I specifically remember the first time I saw this movie. I had just gotten home. I was a freshman in high school. I was 14, and I always correlate this movie, and you won't know what I'm talking about, but we have this local fast food place here called Mighty Taco. It's kind of like Taco Bell. It's like, but it's better. And I remember having Mighty Taco, and then this movie was on TV, and I was just watching it, and I was just fascinated. I was like, wow, what is this movie? And for some reason in the beginning, for that scene, I was like, okay, is it some sort of like spiritual entity that's like causing this? Because they kind of set
Oh,
it up where it's
okay.
like a physical being, like a physical entity,
Right.
because of the window opening, and you see kind of the
The
shadow. But
shadow,
no,
yeah.
it's just death. That's all
Death.
it was.
That was
But
the warning that death is coming for you.
the first time I saw this when I was 14, I was so into it that I told my best friend who was also into horror movies, like, dude, we got to watch this movie. And then I showed him it, and then he loved it. And then I think like he slept over one time and we watched Final Destination 2, I remember. And the third one had not come out yet, so it was only the first two out at the moment.
Oh, okay. See,
And
I've always loved Final Destination. Uh, I don't know why. It's just I like the gruesome deaths. What can
I
I
mean, they're
say?
clever movies. If you're into that kind of stuff, they are very clever with the whole set up. Well, okay. So, a couple things. So, first off, this movie and obviously the whole franchise, it kickstarted a whole, I would say, like a cultural reference
Oh,
where anytime you're out in public with people and you see something that looks dangerous, you would say like, man, that looks like that'd be like something out of Final Destination. In fact, it
oh,
happened to me once. I was playing hockey, we're like roller hockey like years ago, and the goalie looked up and there's like a big like air conditioning unit above him. And he goes,
shit.
man, that looks like something out of Final Destination. So it's just funny how like this movie, it's like a pop
Yeah.
culture reference now, you know what I mean?
It's the same thing when you're on a highway and you see a truck with logs or
Hmm.
anything like that. No, you're not driving behind that. That thing's gonna fly at you. Final Destination
Or if you're on
farthest.
a roller coaster.
Or on a roller coaster.
And that's what's great about these movies is that each movie had its like iconic setup.
Yeah,
So the first one was the airplane, the
right,
second one was the highway, the third one was the roller coaster, the fourth one the racetrack,
right.
the fifth one was the bridge, and then the new one is this like it's like this big like needle tower kind of thing that they do.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just like you go into these movies and you're like, all right, what's the
What's the
big
set?
opening? Yeah, what's the big setup? And I still think two and three have the best setups. The highway's
Yeah,
great in
I
two. The
love I
highway in
love
two is
them.
great, and the roller coaster is a lot of fun.
Like
Because
I
also
said,
that's just like another one. I think it's also playing on your fears of like, okay,
right,
flying. Like people hate to fly.
right. And highway's always dangerous. Roller coaster's always a risk.
hmm
It's a racetrack. They can literally fly into
I
the crowd.
I think they got a little goofier after the third one. The racetrack that was kind of a stretch for me. I was like, all right. The bridge one was okay, but it got a little too much. But
Yeah.
the new one's good. The new movie you really should watch. It actually sets up Bloodworth's backstory, which is actually really well done. Tony Todd's character.
Okay, okay.
And it's of course it's his like, finale, it's his final movie, but it actually has a nice little send off and like
Hey,
cuz you don't know much about Tony Todd's character in this movie in the second one and then he's kind of gone. I think he shows up again in the fifth one. But you don't really know who he
okay.
is. He's just kind of this mysterious guy. He's like, is this guy Death himself and why does he know all this stuff? But they give a little explanation in the new one and it's actually really well done.
All right. I know. I just know that when I was watching this yesterday, the even for this time that the his vision with all everything like flying out and everyone exploding and burning on fire was
Oh yeah. I
like
remember it was very intense as a kid watch or 14 as
I
watching that. I was like,
remember it
"Ooh,
being
this is
intense too.
gruesome." And I was
I
watching it on
remember
TV, so it was fairly edited.
I don't think I ever saw it edited like that. I think I actually saw it on DVD. No, not DVD. I don't know
Probably
where I saw it.
VHS. Okay.
Maybe. It might have
Yeah,
been
I saw this
VHS.
on TV, so certain deaths. I remember like Billy's death was edited, so it cuts away when his head gets chopped off, so you don't see that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember seeing it on random cable and it's like you see the thing flying and then you just see
right. And then you
his
just see
eye
his
get
body fall.
yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that.
Which that's a pretty gruesome one, man, because you see the head just go,
I think that's
and then
the worst one really that you actually see. Because Todd, I mean, yes, you see him strangle, hit the blood to his eyes, and
right.
it's like oh that slow, painful death,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
mean, Terry's is just so out of nowhere that, like, I remember when that happened, watching that, I was like, oh, but
And the thing is,
You
also,
can
you
just
see it
drop
coming
fucking
too.
dead.
well, now you do. At the time when I first watched it, I was like, damn. But also, I kind of like rewatching it now. It almost that scene doesn't make sense how that bus came out because if you pay attention, I was kind of paying attention to the background
Uh,
and they're at the coffee shop, right?
right.
And it's kind of on like almost like an intersection right behind them. Did you notice that there's construction going on
Yes.
that has that street blocked? And that bus would have been coming from that way. So where would that bus have actually come
Mm.
from? Because its momentum would have had to have been going straight. So if the bus
Okay.
was turning, that wouldn't have made sense. So I mean, I don't know if that was just an error or if that's more of just like a sort of weird thing that because I feel
Well,
like why would you have construction guys in the background for no reason? So I'm almost wondering if it is this kind of like supernatural thing. Like, where did that bus come from? Like, it's almost like they
okay.
set that up to make you think that no car could be coming that way. It's like a fake out in its own way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
If
I
you're really
see.
paying attention that deep to the background, and I never noticed that until this time, but yeah, there's like a whole construction unit back there
I
that
remember the
has that street
construction.
blocked off that bus would have been coming that way. So it's
Hmm.
almost like they set that up on purpose to be like, okay, in your mind, you'll be thinking a car's coming that way. And then of course there's all this car stuff going on down the road. So was that the fake out with the car? But nope, there's an actual, the bus comes.
Yeah.
But it kind of just doesn't make sense where that bus would have come from if that street was blocked off, is all I'm saying.
You're reading too much into it.
Maybe, maybe.
I just,
But
no, the her death was like, eh.
no, that one definitely got me as a kid because I don't know. It's just that like,
Hmm.
especially like
Hmm.
her last line is like drop
Drop
effing dead
dead.
and then boom, and just hits him.
Yeah. I after her death was the teachers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's so once we get to like Todd's death, for me the movie just starts like really rolling.
Oh
Because then
yeah.
before I knew it, I checked and there was like only 30 minutes left. I was like, "Oh wow, that's like as Chris is dying over here." Oh no, death is after Chris. Get him some water.
I remember the teacher's death that how slowly it goes and it really goes like just like
That's
that with
probably the
the
biggest setup. That's like the
yes,
biggest
that
setup.
was the biggest one, more than Todd's too,
Yeah,
because it's just little things going back and forth. And
right.
it's just it's just the fact when Alex is already in there and then the chair just falls on her. It's like, oh come on.
Hmm.
That's the thing, that's the final thing.
Right.
The chair. And of
Right. But
course he has
also,
to
in a
drop the
way,
death.
she caused her own death. Think about it, because she called the FBI guys who came and picked him up, and then by the time he got there, it was too late. So it's almost like she caused her own death. Because she was
Uh,
the one that calls the FBI guys
Not
that came and
really.
picked him up. Yeah.
He just never intervened. She was still on the list.
Because he didn't get a chance to intervene because the guys picked him up and he was in the station.
Okay.
By the time he gets there, she's already on the ground.
Right.
But he
Okay.
could have intervened if she never called the FBI guys and then they
True.
came and picked him up.
True.
So it's almost like she kind of caused her own death.
I guess so, yeah. But it's like I never liked her character. I never did.
Mm, well,
I
she
mean,
was a French teacher or whatever, so
no, the other
what's there
guy
to
was a
like?
French teacher, remember?
I thought they were both French teachers. I couldn't quite
No,
figure that out.
it was just a guy because he was the one speaking French the whole time.
Right, but my whole thought was like, why would you have all these teachers going to France if they weren't all the like French speaking teachers?
I don't
Unless
know.
I guess the others were just chaperones.
I was gonna say, I think they're all chaperones because there was four teachers on the plane.
But then they never really clarify what she taught then.
No, they never did. But I just know that she was a teacher, and that I don't know. It's like at the beginning, if she's like an okay teacher, like she cares about her students, and then boom, she's scared to death of him. I'm like,
Hmm.
what the fuck? It's like you scare me. Do not talk to me. I'm like, okay, but I like how Sean William Scott is
Billy.
always there.
Right. He's always just
He's
kind of.
just always there for every death.
Hmm. Yep.
And his character was funny.
He's a comedic relief, coming
Yeah.
off of American Pie. All I can think of is this Stifler.
Yeah. Well, I was like, but I do like when all four of them are in Carter's car
Hmm.
and like he's freaking out and he sees all the visions coming around, like the seatbelt being ripped,
Hmm.
train coming in the window. I was like, okay, I like that. Like I at first I'm thinking when he first looks down and his seatbelt's ripped, like okay, so he's next. The seatbelt just magically ripped and he was supposed to
Hmm.
be next. And that's what I was thinking, okay. But then he sees it back together. Like, did it skip him? Because Carter's just driving past all those possibly accidental deaths. And it's like jumping from like boom, bing, boom, boom, bang, bang all over the car.
Hmm.
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe is Lee Carter's literally intervening each person's death by by driving through them. Like he almost caused knack. He almost crashed into a car. The train tracks. Like he was skipping everyone's death.
Yeah, maybe.
And then
But there was no John Denver music, so obviously that means that wasn't actually an actual death setup because there had to have been John Denver music for that to work. The recurring thematic music of John Denver. It
yeah,
is in like every scene though, if you think about it. Like, well, they talk about it. They first say something when they're sitting on the toilet at the airport. because he hears John Denver.
Right.
Remember when they're taking their pre-boarding crap? He's like, "Oh, John Denver, he died in a plane crash." And then Todd hears it in the bathroom briefly. Then he unplugs the radio,
Right.
and then I
Right.
think Terry is briefly playing on at the coffee
At the
shop,
coffee shop. And then
and
the
then
car,
and then the teacher puts the
the
vinyl
record.
on,
Right, yeah.
right, which with no idea in Denver, and then at the finale at the Paris, I think the guy's singing John Denver in French. I guess maybe Billy's the only one that I don't know if there was any there, but
I don't think so because they're literally in the outside. There's nothing there but the train. The
yeah,
car's
unless
dismantled, so there's no radio.
right, right, so it'd be the only one.
But
But yeah,
I like
the thematic songs of John Denver.
that was funny, yeah.
Did you know what this movie was actually supposed to originally be?
What?
So this was actually supposed to be an episode of the X-Files.
Ah,
Yeah, so the guys that made this movie, this was originally written as an episode for X-Files that was never made, and then they decided to develop it into a movie, and that's what we got here.
okay. Well, I'm glad to
Also,
hear.
if you think about it, this movie kind of came out at the perfect time because imagine if this movie tried to come out a year later.
Oh,
Yeah. Never, it would have probably been
yeah.
shelved and never would have been like
Nope.
released.
Nope.
It
Would have
would,
been
yeah.
direct
So
to movie. Oh, mm-mm.
I don't think it ever would have seen the light of day anywhere if it had come out in 2001.
Oof. Yeah.
I just don't think you could release a movie like that at that time.
Of course not. Of course not.
So,
It would be.
and then at that point, it's like you just kind of write it off, I feel like.
Right, that thing would have been buried quickly.
Yeah, they would
Quick.
never released it. And then that whole franchise would have been, never to be again. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe a few years later, maybe they release it on DVD after, time has passed. But yeah, there would have been no way if this movie came out a year later, that would have been it.
Yeah.
Death would have come for this movie. Also, I don't think this movie was like a huge hit in theaters, but I think it became a big hit on like video. And then
Yeah.
because like they didn't make the first sequel until like 3 years later. So I
Oh, yeah.
think this was a movie
It
that
was like direct
got,
video demand thing at the
and I
time.
of course, like I said, I remember watching it on TV. So I remember it playing on TV like all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like it was always on like USA Network
It was
or
always on.
maybe
It was always on.
Sci-Fi, something like that. And it's funny. It's back in the day when they would edit um
The
stuff where
death.
they wouldn't bleep it. It would just be like, "Shut the up," and like
Oh,
that's how they
the
would do it. So
silence.
I just yeah, so that's how I remember watching this movie. Just like all the muted swearing.
Um, the last death with Carter. I like how
I love that scene by the way.
I love
That
the
man,
billboard just going.
that which that was they reshot that ending. So like I guess the original ending was gonna end in the driveway at Claire's house. And I guess Alex was supposed to die, and like that was gonna be the end of the
Would have been
movie.
the
And I
hit.
think they
Yeah.
yeah, I think they tested it and people didn't like it. And I think there might have been. So there's one thing about this movie that I do think is a little rushed, or maybe it got a little like sloppy with like how they edited it, and that's like the romance of Alex and Clear, because like they go from like not knowing each other, and then by the end they're supposed to be, I think, romantically involved, and then I think they're even I think that like an original ending was that she was supposed to be like pregnant with his baby or something. Yeah, it was like
That's
something like that.
okay.
And like it was like having like and I think the idea was kind of how they did it in two. Like if you were to have a child when you weren't supposed to be alive, that was like the idea. But
Right.
I think they scrapped that for the right reasons. But I think he was originally
Oh,
supposed to die in
goofy.
the driveway, and then so the whole ending where they finally go to Paris, which for me is iconic.
Oh
That
yeah.
last shot of when Carter goes, "Then who's next?" and you just
You were next, and it just skipped me. So who's next?
see the. I remember watching that as a kid, and I was just like, "Whoa!" Like,
I
dude, like that's the
love
kind of
that.
ending that like it sticks with you. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yes.
that was probably one of the like few times where probably like a reshot ending by like producers' notes probably was like a good thing.
Yeah, because if they did do the driveway, it there would have been no franchise at all.
No, I mean the movie just would have
Would have
ended,
just
and
ended.
yeah, it just wouldn't have that like iconic ending.
No, it wouldn't. Like, I understand how it could have been the end. Like, he intervened, but then he stops it with himself, even though he wasn't next. It would have stopped Death's design
And I'll be
if you
honest,
think about it that way.
when they get to the point in the movie where he's in the cabin by himself, and then even the stuff with Claire in the driveway and like all that, I didn't really care for it. I didn't think it was that enticing or that exciting. Like everything up to that was like great. Like all like because by the
It,
time we get to Todd's death, it's just like another death after another, and then you're getting into like the final act, and then you get to the final act, and I honestly don't think the final act of this movie is the best. The ending is great, but I
yeah.
think the final act itself is not
See,
that good.
if for him in the
I
cabin, like I appreciated how like there was caution and everything, but I think it would have been even more interesting if he didn't get everything and he's like stumbling on top of his own traps
sure.
uh that he tried to make safe, and he's like going bum 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 bum, bum trying to get away from everything. I think that would have been a little bit more interesting than just tape everything and eat it can of spam.
Right. Yeah, I think this movie does suffer from, a lot of horror movies have these strong setups and these strong first two acts, and then their third act can tend to,
Ran out of
fall
gas.
apart. Run out of gas, yeah. And I'm not saying it falls apart. It's not bad. I just think it gets a little boring. It's
Maybe they
not that
just couldn't.
exciting.
Maybe they just couldn't finish. Couldn't find a that
That
gap.
that's what I that's what I think. I think they had these great setups, and then by the time they got to the end, they just kind of didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
And that's probably kind of what happened. Like you said, I think that's a good term, running out of gas. But then, of
Yeah.
course, the final scene in Paris is like it picks it back up, and it's a great closing
Oh,
scene.
uh, yeah. And it's a perfect open ending. It really is.
Yeah,
Like,
and then of course when you get, I do like Final Destination 2 because it does pick up the pieces from
hmm
one. And
hmm
unfortunately, the one negative is that, again, spoiler if you've not seen two, but it's been 20 something years. They kill off Alex, like, off screen in the second one, and it's kind of like, really? I mean, at
Eh,
least Claire comes back, but they kill off Alex and like some like random like a brick hit him from like up to the window or something. I forgot it's like a newspaper clipping that says how he died, and something like a brick fell and hit him in the
on his
head.
head or something, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just like really,
That's
that's how he
so
goes.
damn. Like, yeah, it was like a weak death.
Yeah, it's just like, ugh. I mean, two is great though, because like everyone was connected somehow to the original, and
Yeah,
yeah, it was.
yeah.
I do like two more than I think I didn't like it as much when I was younger, but rewatching it, I was like, damn, this actually was a fun horror movie sequel.
Yeah, like to me, comparing all of them, I think I liked them even more, like more than the original one, mainly because the deaths, they were more creative, they were
Yeah,
more bloody.
right.
Because the first one, I really think the only bloody one is Billy.
Billy's pretty bloody, pretty graphic. Terry's, there is blood. I mean, you do see like a
It's like a little
explosion
splatter.
of blood, but it's like digital blood. It's not the biggest. Well, when she gets hit, it's like
Yeah,
digital.
and it's
That's more
just
of
a
like a
little
shock.
splatter on
Yeah, it's
everyone.
it's not a huge thing. It's more of like a shock, like just like a shock factor.
Yeah, like I can see the teacher with like the throat cut and the knife. Sure.
Yeah,
But gruesome is Billy.
yeah, definitely Billy.
Billy.
Of course, we don't get to see Carter, but I think that's the perfect.
Yeah.
Man,
Like
now I
to
just had this
imagine
thought.
how
I
he
feel
would have like
like
knocked his head out off
I
of him.
had this like thought of when I watched it on TV. Did it? No, I'm thinking of a different movie. Never mind. Never mind. Um, you've seen Halloween H2O, right?
No.
Oh, you never seen it? Okay.
I've only seen
So
the
I'm
first
gonna
original too.
I'm gonna
That's it.
spoil it for you, but I remember watching it on TV, and the movie ends with Jamie Lee Curtis swinging an axe at Michael Myers. So he had this like nice little moment. Then she
Mhm.
just goes, and it cuts to black, and you hear the axe go, and I'm like, whoa, that was fucking awesome. But then I realized that was just the TV ending. In the actual ending, you actually see the head get cut off.
Oh shit.
But I
Okay.
love the TV ending because it's like it's a little ambiguous, like, oh, like maybe he's still alive. But then in the actual movie, it's like, no, you see the head get cut off.
Huh.
And for some reason, I had this thought right now. I was like, wait a minute, do you see Carter actually get hit by the sign? And maybe the TV
No,
edit just cut to black before, but no,
it literally
it
is
just.
just cut the block.
And I
Um,
love the actual like cut to black before you see anything happen. I think that's just the perfect like way to go out. It's just like, oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Also, like,
I love it.
like if you can remember watching this movie for the first time, when you actually see the plane actually explode at the airport and the window
Mhm.
burst, like
Oh
I was like,
yeah.
damn. I was like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
I remember that. That was very very
right.
real.
This movie had a lot of like like big like holy shit moments.
Oh
Like
yeah.
for me, it was always the plane exploding and the glass breaks. Terry gets hit by the bus, and then Carter at the end with the sign.
Yeah, those big shock moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I'll say that, yeah.
But hey, man, I gotta say, I think the Final Destination franchise is back. They were away for 11 or 14 years, came back with the new movie Bloodlines, which was really good, made a lot of money, and I think we'll probably be seeing some more Final Destination movies in the future.
We shall see.
Though death never ends. It's always coming for somebody. And they never explain the whole premonition thing in any movie. They never explain why that happens. Is it spiritual? Is it, you
Psychic.
know, psychic? Right.
It could be
Like
just
what is
psychic.
the actual meaning behind it? It's never really explained, and I never need it to be explained.
No, then it's not necessary. It really
No,
isn't.
no.
Although the FBI agents were a little annoying. They were annoying.
They were just doing their job.
I know, but they were still annoying. Alright, well, I think that's it. That's all we got for Final Destination.
Final Destination. Don't get on any airplane soon, kiddies.
Or a roller coaster.
This
Or
would be a
go
weird
see
movie
NASCAR.
to. This would be a weird movie to like offer on an airplane,
Oh
wouldn't it?
shit.
Could you imagine like watching this on an
Somebody
airplane?
would have I feel like somebody in the airport would have done that on purpose and scared the crap out of everyone.
Also, okay, I guess I should have asked. Would you have gotten off the plane after his freak out? Like if you were just like a random person on that plane, I would not have been staying on that plane.
I don't know.
I would have gotten off. There's no way I would have been like, I think it's for me, it's just like psychological. It's just like, don't take a chance with it and just get off the plane.
Maybe, but if I would probably get off the plane if it was more than half or at least half the people trying to get off.
See, you're not a
Then
leader, Chris. You're a follower. You need to just take charge. If I
ah,
saw something like that, I'd be like, there ain't no way I'm staying on this plane. That's intense. And Claire had the right idea. She got off the plane.
yeah, she
And she was the
felt
only one that made it to movie number two.
she felt his emotions.
Oh, she felt a lot of things, I bet. Anyways,
It's a nice franchise
were,
to
I,
follow.
were you about to say it's a nice family movie? That's what it sounded like you were about to say.
No.
For all the kids to enjoy. I mean, I don't know. We were kids when we watched it, so I guess you could show your kids.
I guess. Well, nowadays, 10-year-olds are watching Deadpool versus Wolverine, so anyway, Final Destination. Great movie, great franchise. Go ahead and watch them. See if you can find out Death's design. And yeah,
See if you can figure out how the person's going to get killed
ah,
before it happens, because that there's always the fake out.
there's always something. There's always some foreshadow somewhere.
Hmm
Go find it.
But that's all we got for this week. So, well, thank everybody for hanging out. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Chris smells like fish soup if you're still watching at this point.
Ha,
And
ha, ha.
we'll pick this up with more spookiness next week. I'm not sure what movie we're gonna do yet, but I think we're gonna keep the theme going of horror movies until Halloween.
That's right, folks. Halloween season, all horror. Cup print, moving on.
All right.